We recently attended a consultation on the proposed budget cuts to the Northern Ireland Health Service. Whilst there, we asked a question of the panel about the seeming conflict between their purported claim that there is a national shortage of nurses and the fact that they can somehow fill the positions that are available with agency nurses. So we were confused as to why they felt there was a national shortage of nurses when it seems there's a national shortage of nurses who want to work for the health service. And we wanted them to explain. Now, they didn't really give us an answer, ultimately, but here was the answer they did give.
Thank you, Josh. There are two aspects that I heard from what you said. One was around how we retain our staff and how we, if I'm right in recapping, how we prevent staff from working for agencies and come to work for us. I have to be very clear about this. The fundamental issue in this region, and it's not unique to this region, it's right across the UK, is that there is a shortage of nursing. There are 1,200 nursing vacancies across the region.
But if you can fill them with agency staff, then... You know, like if there was just no nurses, then you wouldn't be able to get the agency staff.
The nurses that work for agency, many of them work in the NHS and do additional work within agencies, and that is their choice. And a number of those nurses have chosen just to work for agency. But let me be very clear about this. There is a shortage of nursing. That is a fact. There is not enough nurses, and that has created a market and an opportunity for agencies then to actually price shifts at a much higher rate. Our budget is in line with our agenda for change. So to have an on-contract nursing agency nurse in a post can cost us 3 times as much per shift as it would for one of our own nurses.
So why not offer bank staff more?
Marjorie made a statement about when are we going to say that we have to close the hospital because we can't afford to run it. And actually, the workforce issue is driving us to that point. We cannot afford to staff as many shifts as we are currently having to because of the nurse vacancy rate, because of the cost of agency staff and local medical staff. It's unaffordable. That's the reality.
Why don't you highlight that then?
Pay the nurses more money, and then you'll get them to stay and not go to Australia. I spoke to a lady in Queens, she told me that they were getting, the nurses were signing off there one day, they finished their degree, the next day they're getting their visas signed to go to Australia, where they get triple the money. Triple. Not, so why, you have to start, I trained in 1982. In 1985 I finished, and they chucked us out of the hospital because they had no jobs for us. 100 nurses, that's 400 a year, because it was four different intakes. So, and I think that about probably 3/4 of those nurses never came back to nursing because of that. So, between the devil and the deep blue sea, you need to pay your nurses.
Nurses in Northern Ireland are paid less, and Stephanie has already said that, than nurses in England, Scotland and Wales. That is not a decision of the Northern Trust. I, like you, trained in the early 80s. There were more nurses than there were posts. I had to go to London until I could come back here and get a job. I was one of those nurses too. And when we look at the workforce planning situation that we are in currently, where there aren't enough nurses, we are short of nurses, we have to be very clear about that fact. There are 1,200 nursing vacancies. Those workforce planning issues that have brought us to this point, I can track that back to 2008 and 2009, When workforce planning decisions were made to reduce the number of nursing students, so I agree with you, and that was done at a time when there were more nurses than there were posts, like the situation you and I found ourselves in the early 80s.
I work in my own hospital. I'm the deputy sister ward 3. I have vacancies for band 5s, and any time I ask them to be interviewed and all the rest, and I say, did you get somebody with on the post? No, nobody wants to work in the Northern Trust. They all go to Belfast. So what are we doing wrong? Why can we not get people?
They're bullying the nurses.
What's happening? Why are they all so else?
Thank you. We interview nurses every fortnight, and actually, if there were nurses to interview every week, we would do it every week. We are also recruiting internationally, as you well know, because of the shortage of nurses. We ask nurses that interview, where would you like to work? And nurses tell us where they would like to work. It's not like that lady, my colleague, and I in the early 80s, where actually, when you qualified, you were told where you were going to, and you were jolly glad, and off you went, and you didn't raise your head about it. That's not the issue now. It's not just in nursing. It's all professions. It's probably a generational thing that young people, and the market allows it. They can choose where they want to work, and I have to say to you, and I am totally conflicted about this, but our young nurses are choosing not to work in areas where our patients are older, our patients are frailer, and the work is physically more demanding. And that is the choice. Now, we can make judgments about that, but I choose not to. That is the reality that we find ourselves in. So what do we do in the Northern Trust? I can tell you, nurses do want to come and work with us in the Northern Trust. We have to go back to that fundamental issue. There is not enough nurses across the region. The Royal, my Director of Nursing colleague in the Royal is sitting with 200 nursing vacancies. So nurses do want to come to work for us, but actually we find ourselves in a situation where we say to them, where would you like to work? Here's where we have vacancies. They pick, and actually we facilitate that choice, because if we don't, they are going to go down the road to Belfast, and we don't want that. And actually then how do we manage the high level of vacancies in the area that you are working in? And it is by our non-contract agencies. And that is unaffordable and unsustainable.
Folks, I'm going to have to move the nursing argument on just a little because there's too many names on the list, unfortunately, so it may crop up again, but thank you very much for the points that you've made so far. Could I ask Karen